Good evening, everybody. Matrix here is April 30th, and here's my watch list for May 1st. Okay, so let's get right into it. First of all, actually, before we even start and get into the tickers, let's take a look at the SPY here and what it did today. Wow, all-time highs. It almost reached to 295 today. So this dump was pretty much caused by Google's earnings and Google failing, and hence dragging the whole market down. It eventually recovered, and it climbed back up. So tomorrow, pretty fakey, definitely pretty fakey, but this is definitely a sign of bullishness, as you can see on the SPY here real quick. As it rebounded, it held this level right over here, and then it started making its ways back up, right? So from here, it did like a sideways step over and over, and then got higher and higher. And we have some levels to watch, right here. Okay, so after hours, we see the SPY shooting up huge, hitting its all-time highs. Now, this is particularly because of Apple coming out with strong earnings, both on the revenue side and on the guidance side. So, I mean, you can even mark off this area, this 94, very key area tomorrow to watch for. If the SPY pose at the open and dip, it should hold this 294, and from then we could get a pop back up. Okay, now it has cleared the previous day's highs of 294.50, but however, I don't think this top actually holds tomorrow unless it gaps up higher, and we'll really have to see. Overall, the SPY is looking very bullish. I believe there's also a Fed meeting for tomorrow as well, so pretty interesting to see what happens after that. Anyways, looking bullish in my opinion. So looking for dip and rip right over here. 293.94 was the highs here, right? So let's take a look at the weekly chart real quick. See if I can get some more data in here. Yeah, all-time highs. Right? Yeah. Weekly highs at 93.94. So the 294 area going to be very interesting to watch and see if it holds. Also going to be watching, let's go back to the daily. Probably around here. 293.20s. Okay, so we have 293.20s and 294 to watch for, acting as support going into the minute chart here. I guess that's kind of like where I plotted. So here's at 294, and then the 293, how much? In this area. Looking for a dip at the open, take some profits, and then pop right back up. Okay, so let's get into the main watch list. First up, we have AMD. Let's slow up some drawings here real quick on AMD. AMD had a very positive earnings reaction as it came out with a revenue beat, only by a penny though, earnings per share. But ideally, I mean, it is a positive earnings reaction. If we're looking at AMD overall today, what it did, and zooming out a little bit just on the daily chart, it bounced right off this 27 area here. So 27 is a very key support area. Now that we're actually at around the 28.75, there could this main support of 27. This is the key inflection point where we have passed. Looking at the next area, this is also a main area that I'm looking at, right? So from here, this candle to this candle, as you can see, this is a main support. Look at the volume here on April 3rd. So the low of this candle is at 27.87, which I've already marked off here in the 30-minute chart. So around 27.80s to 87, 85s. Okay, so I'll give it a few more cents, right? I'll give it like a 10 cents range. 27.80 is the main support I'm looking at. Now, the stock ripped after hours. Okay, both on the 5-minute chart, ripped after hours, and then it took profits and started fading. Now, I'm pretty sure short sellers have piled in here on this because I was watching this after hours. I would have, if I was trading after hours, I would have shorted it. I would have shorted it from the snap of 29 here, or this pop here back up to around the 29 area. So 29, we have a pretty key resistance level. Okay, resistance level 1 is this 28.85 area. So I want to mark that off and show you where 28.85 is real quick. Okay, it's right here, prior day's highs. Okay, if I zoom out, you'll see it's this line right here. Okay, so that's resistance 1. Resistance 2, I'm looking at the whole number of 29. As you see here on the 5-minute chart, this became a pretty critical area. Okay, resistance 2. And then from then, we also have, of course, you have to give it a little bit more room, and you see that it actually rejected here at 29.20. So I'm not gonna give it too much of a concern on this 29.20. Basically, we have a resistance zone, right? So anywhere from 29 to 29.20, this is a resistance area. Coming up here at this price point, we have this doji candle on the 30-minute chart. It topped out at 29.40, which is literally the top of this candle, this doji candle here, April 4th. And then finally, we have the highs at the $30 mark. Okay, so I am expecting analysts to come out with some buy ratings here tomorrow because of this reaction. However, it looks like it has found some sort of a bottom, and it looks like it's kind of trending back up. We see, let me get rid of this. You see like a pop, dip, hold, and then holding a higher low, and then rounding up. So with all the analysts going to be chiming in tomorrow morning, going to watch out for the news. I am expecting a gap up. And a gap up, initially, ideally, I want to see a gap up above this 29 area and hold. And at the open, probably dip a little bit. As long as it holds this 28.85 to 29 area, I like it for the long. Ride it up to the 30. I don't think it can get over 30 though, because 30 was a very key price point and inflection point. And for AMD to run this much, it's possible but highly improbable. So let's take a look at this massive daily candle. It ran 2.5 points, right? So sitting here at 29 bucks, it might be able to run up to 31, but since we are gapping up so much, I highly doubt it can actually get up and over 30. My first thesis is a long. Want to see a gap up over 29. If it opens flat or sideways, it'll dip some more. If it dips out the gates or pre-market at the open, I'm looking for this 28 area to hold and start reclaiming this 28.25, forming higher lows. So it's all about the price discovery tomorrow and pre-market and see what it does, right? So if it dips, looking for long. If it pops even higher around the 30, I'm actually going to look for a dip right out of the gates for a profit take and then ride it back up. So that's AMD, very in-depth, a lot of ideas here. Main watch. Apple also had a massive earnings reaction. They beat revenues and guidance. So let's load up some drawings here. Apple, I know there are a lot of resistance lines here. These two are particularly close, the 213 to the 213.65 area. What we see here after hours is a massive pop, a sell-off, a little pull, and then it kind of grinded up, and it's still holding its highs around the 210. Okay, so on Apple, it's all about the daily chart. Okay, this 211 is pretty key. That's why I use the color orange. It's basically where it topped out after hours, right? So I want to see tomorrow at the pre-market if it holds about 211 or under 211 to open up. Okay. And from here, as you can see, I marked off 216.80 as my main resistance area. This is basically right here the gap fill. So if I zoom in from last year around early November, I'm looking at this candle here. And the reason why I came up with this 216.81 area is if I zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, let's pop up this daily chart real quick. This is where Apple failed, right? And as you see, this grind up happened on this day. People bought it. And then on this day, on November 1st, it dipped. It held this 1685 area, and then it ran back up and closed on its highs. From there, a lot of buyers are stuck holding the bag here, right? They would never have suspected the next day it gapped down so much, and they never had a chance to get out. So if Apple has a chance to reach back up here and fill this gap at the 216.85 area, I am expecting a lot of selling pressure to come in and bring the stock down. Now the stock is gapping up huge, so usually when the stock is gapping up so much, I usually on the next day I look for a profit taking day, because this is automatically overextension right now. And I personally want to see it gap up a little bit more. Still looking at the daily chart, we are this candle, I want to pay attention to November 2nd, right? After this bag holding happened, where did it top out November 2nd? So the highest point here is 213.65, which makes it a key resistance area. The opening price here was at 209.55. Okay, so about 210 area. As you can see, the 210 area reacted very well right here in this lot over here and right here around this bunch. So we are sitting just a tad above it right now. So definitely have to see what it does tomorrow pre-market. Okay. As far as support goes, the 207, as you can see, I use a different color as a main support area. If I zoom out here on the past few days, you'll see why I use 207. It's basically this right here on April 24th and 23rd, right? On this day, it snapped this key support area. And now that it has reclaimed hard, this becomes key support again. Coming up over here, we have the 208.50s, which is the high of this day, April 24th again. And looking here, April 24th. Okay, so this doji day, right? So the high of this day, this is another support area I'll be watching. This is how I mapped out my previous support. So from here and also here, we have two support areas. With the stock shooting up so much, what did it actually do today? Wow, it sold off, right? And it bounced right up from the 200. So it literally sold off prior to earnings. Looking at this right now, I guess people didn't really anticipate this. So whoever shorted on these fill days, they probably need to cover as well, causing a squeeze. At any chance the stock comes back down near these areas, they're probably going to cover and causing a squeeze. I do like to see this thing run tomorrow, but I don't really want to buy up here unless it holds above this 211 area. Then I might buy. We have 212 where it topped out a little bit after hours, and then 213, the first major push, right? Also key resistance areas. If it gaps up and starts holding this 211 area, then yeah, I could long it. But knowing that it's so overextended, by the time it gets to 213, I'm going to probably have a very few shares left and be very careful of a double topping action or a trend change from there. I am looking for a profit take first and then hold some sort of a dip and ride it back up. Looking at the news tomorrow, definitely going to have a lot of analysts chiming in on the Apple stock coming out with upgrades. Okay. Next up, we have pins. Total miss today because I was playing with JD at the open. However, I actually put this on my watch list last night too. I said I was looking for profit taking day because overall, if we didn't look at today's action, if we just don't look at today's action, overall, this thing has been running parabolic, right? And of course, lo and behold, I miss it right at the 26. It gave me a chance to get in short, and I missed it again as I was already in a trade on JD. Perfect $35 retrace rejection going into the 1 minute chart. Let's take a look at 1 minute chart right here. Here it is. Going into the 1 minute chart, looking at the open today. I mean, this was literal gold, right? At the open, oh no, it opened right here. Yeah, this was literal gold. Let's take a look at the open here. Okay, so this one's the opening bar right at 35. I mean, would have waited, come back up. This here, this bar at 35. This was the perfect entry here, right? As it rejected VWAP, and all along, could have made another entry here if you missed it, and risked over under 35. Anyways, enough about that rant about me missing it. Let's talk about how I want to look at this tomorrow. Now, surprisingly, not so surprisingly, Pinterest has an earnings catalyst. Okay, right here. Not an earnings catalyst, a news catalyst. Okay, so what this is today. Now they come out with this news last night after hours, saying that the underwriters has fully exercised their option to buy more of PINS at the price of $19. Okay, this actually means that they have already bought it, and they bought 11 million shares at $19 already. They already exercised that option, and now they have 11 million shares of stock to sell because of this run up. Okay, so hence profit taking day, very very predictable. To be quite honest, after the news, I should have paid a little bit more attention to this. First red day, closing very near its prior open, which is support here. Let's talk about resistance first. I actually want to short this a little bit more because the way it closed, I don't know if the underwriters have sold all their shares yet. I mean, nobody ever knows, but we know that they got them at $19, and this is this selling action is pure profits, right? If they still have some shares left, at any chance of the stock coming back higher, they will try to unload as well. So looking at this 32 area, which I called last night, which was a key support, today it snapped at 32, and from there it basically never came back. So right here, this 32, very key area I called last night. It's actually where it actually bounced, the very first bounce of the day, but unfortunately it held under the 33 and came right back down and through, right? So from there, knowing that 32 was key support, after it snapped and held under, now it becomes key resistance. The stock is holding at 30.85 right now. So with so many short sellers piled in, if they have piled in, which I think Guy Gentile piled in on the short. I don't know if he's still holding here. I'm looking for a cover pop. These short sellers to take some profits tomorrow, causing the stock to pop. Looking at, first of all, 32, and then also 33 area, which is very key today as well. As you can see, it was basically where it failed on the retracement here on the first pop back up. On here, the key level that I marked off in orange is $30.63. Okay, very specific. It was I believe it was this day. Yeah, the doji day's highs. Okay, so depending on what it does tomorrow at this level where we're currently sitting slightly above, I think it comes down a little bit more pre-market, and then probably reach the $30 area. Yesterday's lows was $29.82 to be exact. So I am expecting some sort of a bounce from here. Don't know if it's going to run up. Definitely do not want to buy this. That's what I that's what my plan is. I definitely do not want to buy this unless it gets to 29 quick and fast and then makes a double bottom or higher low from 29. All right, as you can see, anywhere from 29 to so here's 29 key psychological whole number to 28.80s. Okay, so we have 20 cents. 20 cents of support zone right here. Looking for the bounce from there. That's the only spot I feel like I want to long from. Otherwise, I definitely don't want to long. And it has to confirm. It has to show me some sort of a signal. Okay. Otherwise, I'm looking for a cover pop. Looking at 32 and 33. Short it right back down. I think the stock is going to trend a little bit sideways tomorrow, and probably be a little choppy. So only want to play at around these areas, 33, 32. If 33 reclaims, this could squeeze out and come all the way back up to 35. I mean, let's take a look at this. I want to take a look at the fibs here real quick. Okay. So, yeah, definitely has potential to come back up to 34 before it makes its next leg down if it bounces tomorrow. So we'll see. Okay, so PINS, another main watch. Finally, NVDA. Okay, so NVDA loading up some drawings here real quick. Let's see. I played NVDA. NVDA, not as much horizontal support and resistance. What I like about NVDA, I actually traded this, and I'll do a recap on it. You know what? I'll do a recap on it right now. 1 minute chart. I basically took a short here on NVDA on the double top, and I posted the entries and exits and how I managed to trade here on NVDA on my Twitter feed. I basically shorted it right here, I believe. Let me see. Let me bring in my timestamps here real quick. Yeah. Okay, so NVDA shorted at 1047, hammered it at 1052. Let's take a look at that. 1047. Oh, not even that early. Right there. 1047. Oh, this candle. Not even. This doji candle right here, I shorted it right around here. risking a little bit above the highs here at 181.20s. Okay, as it came up and reclaimed, I took half off to relieve my risk a little bit. And then from here on this rejection, once I saw this seller's candle, I was sure of it, and I jammed it back in even more, and I rolled it all the way back down. I paid myself at around the VWAP area. That was basically the trade held a little bit, see if it would keep going under the VWAP, and it did. Unfortunately, what I did bad here on this trade was I never paid myself around this area. I wanted it to go down to 179 right here, and it never reached. And by that time, it actually came back up, and I finally got out as VWAP reclaimed, and it reclaimed VWAP, held VWAP again, and started pushing. I got out right here. So I took a point and a bit on this trade. But that was my trade. Okay. NVDA, looking at it right now, let's get back to the plan. As you can see, I load up some drawings. You see how it popped up and over this 181 today, okay, and it kind of held, and it's still running up. Now, the reason for this after hours run up, it's also because of Apple's and the SPY running up as well, right? Overall, coming into this daily chart, it does definitely look like it wants to fill the gap, and the gap fill at the wick over here is at 183.75. And then coming up a little higher, we have a key psychological whole number and a key resistance at 185. Okay, so I want to see what it does as it come up to this gap fill area. If it pops up and through, ideally I want to short it from the 185 area, because once the gap fill and then dump, right? Yeah, I want to see it come all the way up to the 185 area and short it right back down. As far as support goes, my first support is 182, where it actually broke out of. Okay, this is not a key support. The key support is at 181, around here. Okay, where I shorted it, it eventually reclaimed and held this 181, and this is the key support. So from 185 to 181 is where I want to short. Gonna be paying attention to this gap fill area, and that's basically the plan on NVDA. Now, if it dumps out of the gates, I'll be looking for 181 to hold, I guess, and see if it shows me a double bottom, and try to come back up, test the highs, and then yeah. So a couple of plans on NVDA, and that's basically it. That's my watch list for this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed it, enjoyed the plan. I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Let's start off the month of May awesome. Check out my video link description below for discounts on what broker I use for Trick Trades education, both DVD and the chat room side. I also have Trick's free YouTube channel link in the description below. If you are not ready to commit to joining a community, a trading community that can actually help you grow as a trader and turn you around into a profitable trader, check out Trick's YouTube channel, where he has a lot of free video lessons. Okay, Trick has always been my mentor from 2 years ago, and he literally changed my trading around. There was also another guy on Twitter that joined today, so he's gonna have a great day tomorrow at Trick Trades. And I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Ciao.